Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Porter Says podcast with your host and only host, Heath. Sixth episode. It's, nothing special. It's going to be the same as other ones. I'm going to be a little all over the place, and I'm going to just talk about stuff that I really like, or one thing in particular that I really enjoy and did not expect to enjoy as much as I did. You'd be used to it by now, and yeah, I mean that's the charm of this podcast, I would hope, and I hope that's why you guys like it, because I'm not trying to be like super professional. Like, I want to come across as professional enough, but not to the point where I seem like really stuck up or anything like that, or like that I'm a big know-it-all. So now I did see that last episode was nearly 30 minutes long. So I'm going to try and keep today's ones a little bit shorter if I can. I'm only going to be talking about one thing in particular, and I might not even talk about that for long, which means I can, maybe move on to some other... I mean, there are things I do want to talk about, but this one in particular that I want to get to. So, in today's episode, I will be reviewing the movie Wicked, or Wicked Part 1, 2024, whatever you want to call it, with... Ariana Grande as Glenda, and Cynthia, someone I might remember a bit later on, playing the Wicked Witch of the West. So, I do have notes that I wrote about this movie, and yes, I know it's a little late, because the movie came out like a week or two ago, but I've had time to let it sit since the night I saw it, and I was going to see it, but I was debating if I saw it in theaters, and I'm glad I did, because, so let's get straight to the point. Walking into it, I should say, I didn't expect much from it. I don't mind, I like musicals for the most part. I do think that they have a place in the world, obviously, because they provide a lot of... joy to people. And yeah, I think the biggest problem you can have with a movie musical, or just music in general, is that if the music isn't good, then what's really the point? Yeah, you've got the story, but the musical sequences drive the story of the film. So that's one thing I can say about that. But let's get on with Wicked. So I walked in, not expecting much, and I walked out going, wow, that was so much better than I expected. I was like, this is a good movie. And as I've had time to think about it more and more, and I've listened to a couple of the songs from the soundtrack, I really love this movie. As the past week or two has gone on, I've let it sit, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. It was a great film. I was very surprised. The biggest... I'm going to go based off my notes here, I'm sorry. I'm not the only one who does this, trust me. So, overall, it's great. Go see it. You really should. I think, even if you're not like super into musicals or anything like that, and if you're not really too familiar with the source material, which apparently this is kind of its own thing. It's not like... I don't think it's fully canon to like The Wizard of Oz or anything. And that's coming from someone who's never seen The Wizard of Oz. Sorry, I've never seen the original Wizard of Oz movie. I will change that, and maybe in a future episode of the podcast I'll talk about that. So, my first note that I wanted to talk about was that the musical numbers were really catchy. If you couldn't tell, I've listened to two of the songs by now. Not every single song was like the best thing ever, but it worked for the movie, and they were catchy. They were really catchy. They were well directed. Everybody, sung really well, especially Ariana Grande and Cynthia. Can't pronounce her name. I'm gonna Google it because I'm an idiot. What else have I got? Direction, like overall, was pretty solid, I'd say. And I don't know much about the director at all, really. I don't think I've seen another film by them. And I'd say very, very solid job at directing. Performances overall, not just from Ariana Grande and the actress who plays the Wicked Witch of the West, which, let me be really unprofessional right now. Let's see. Cynthia Erivo or Rivio or something. Yeah. You also got Jonathan Bailey, who, again, I have, this is the first film I've seen him in. And you got Jeff Goldblum, who is playing, I think... Oh, wait, no, this isn't really a spoiler. This is playing the wizard himself. So, and he was great. Jeff Goldblum, no matter what movie he's in, he's always great. So, the visuals were good for the most part. Like, there was, a lot of good special effects, but I do have to say, like, the movie, like, visually overall looked... It was a bit inconsistent. There were shots and all that looked beautiful. But then there were other shots that were just like, this is, like, kind of grey and dull to look at. Can we get some colour going on? It was usually, like, during, I think, one of the earlier musical sequences, Popular. I think that was, like, very bright and vibrant, and that mostly comes through, both performances, but mostly Ariana Grande, who's just so good in this film. I mean, I'd seen her in some of the Nickelodeon stuff and all that, but I didn't really know how good of an actress she was, and I've always liked her music. I think she's very talented, and she was brilliant in this movie as Glenda. And Cynthia Erivo, I can't pronounce her last name, was pretty good. Was great, I should say, as the witch. She brought a lot of emotion, in my opinion, at least. Some people said she didn't, but I'm like, okay, clearly we have different opinions on a performance. I'd say she was great. The final musical number, I didn't expect it to go on as long as it did. Oh, wow. I'm just looking at the time. I always feel like I'm going overtime, but I'm not even 10 minutes in. This might be a bit of a shorter episode, guys. It's fine. I don't think you want to hear my voice for too long. Right, what else have I got to say? Besides, the pacing. The pacing was, good. For a movie that's 2 hours and 45 minutes, there are times where you feel the length. You do. It's only really towards the end where you're just like, okay, can we get going? But then you go, oh wait, it's gonna just end on a cliffhanger because this is Wicked Part 1. The story, at least for this, this universe, I guess, or not even universe. The story's not fully over. There's still a bit more to explore with Glenda and the witch. And I'm really looking forward to see how it turns out, because when I heard that it was a two-parter, I'm like, come on, really? That just seems like they're doing it just to make even more money, because that's what mostly when you do two-parters like that. With the exception of the last two Harry Potter movies, I feel like that was a needed thing, and I'd say this was too, because I feel like, again, towards the end, you feel like the story of the two of them, of Glenda and the witch, isn't over. You feel like there's a little bit more to tell, and it could lead into what, I guess lead into the Wizard of Oz, or maybe their own version of what the Wizard of Oz could be. So I'm pretty keen to see where it goes. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Wicked. Sorry if I was kind of rushing through it, because I don't know really what else to say, because it's been getting a lot of positive reviews. It's making money. I think Part 2 comes out this time next year, I believe, within a year, because this movie came out like at the end of November. So I'm guessing Part 2 is going to come out around the month of November, maybe even December. So then we'll finally get to see how this story concludes and leads into other things. But, I mean, even if you think about it with the end of this, it kind of feels like you could just watch it as its own thing, potentially. I mean, it feels like, she's become the Wicked Witch. She's got the whole outfit planned. She's got the hat, she's got the broom, and I feel like, there's a way you could have ended it without leading to a part 2. But again, I feel like there are characters in this movie that you feel like didn't quite get the end to their arc that they needed, that they needed to maybe like end this story at this point, so you wouldn't need to see another part. But I think they've left it open to, I was gonna say left to open to interpretation, but not interpretation, to like see what they'll have in store for a lot of the other characters next, not just Glenda and the Witch. I feel like there's a lot more going on. I mean, kind of want to see more of Jeff Goldblum's The Wizard. I hope we get more of him in the next one. Yeah, there was just a lot of fun sequences in this film. Not just the musical parts, just like fun in general. The movie's just fun and it's charming. Pretty much all the characters are great, besides the witch's sister who's in a wheelchair. She's fine, but I feel like maybe there might be more for her character to develop her character a bit more. Don't know why I did that for. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on Wicked 2024, Wicked Part 1. Yeah, I felt the need to let it sit for a while, because if I'd recorded, if I'd talked about it in my last week's episode, first off, that was mostly a Christmas one, so it would have been weird. But also, I'd only seen the movie a couple of days prior, so I didn't give it enough time to kind of sit and kind of not come out with just fresh thoughts, because at the time I walked out going, yeah, that was a really solid movie, but more time I thought about it, I ended up loving it. So I don't know if I'd see it again in theaters, but I'll definitely watch it a few more times at least once it comes to streaming, or you never know, I might buy it. Who knows? You'll see. And I guess, I could talk about some other movies that I've been watching the past couple of days. Let me go into my Letterboxd, which I know I have kept saying I will put the link in my description to this stuff. I never do, because I'm just lazy when it comes to that. I'm always just so excited to just get these out to you as not as fast as I can, but get them out. So it's usually it was either I think last episode was Friday, so this episode will most likely be Friday, and this could be potentially the last episode for, well, not for the year. I was going to say for the year. I'm sure I can I might record another one next week, and then just not upload it until to get back, because I am going away on vacation for a week. So I just kind of find it, feel like I could just record one and upload it the week I get back, or even on the weekend, because I think I get back on a weekend. So I wouldn't want to do that to you guys. Wouldn't want to keep you waiting for too long, because I know you're really anticipating these ones. Okay. So things I want to talk about. I did rewatch Deadpool and Wolverine, which is just so much fun. I really love that movie a lot. I watched Alien from 1979 for the first time. Yes, I'd actually never seen that movie, and I really liked it. I really did. I thought it was very solid. It was a bit of a slow burn at first, but I get what they were doing. They were building up to all the suspense, and for a movie that takes place just in this ship that all the characters are in, the movie never really. Oh, sorry about that. That was a text message from God knows what. Sorry about that. yeah, as I was saying, Alien. Slow burn, but I knew what they were doing. And then, yeah, for a movie that takes place in just one location, never really got bored by it. I mean, the pacing I thought was pretty, nearly close to perfect. Um, like a little bit towards the end, it started to kind of go like, oh, I thought it ended at one point, and then it kept going for a couple of more minutes. I'm like, oh, you could have ended it there, but again, they were keeping you on your toes and not, not giving what you were expecting from a movie like that. So that's Alien. I really like that movie, and I can't believe it took me that long to see it. I don't think it's as good as most people, say it is, but I really liked it a lot. I did rewatch The Santa Claus, which you know my thoughts on that from last week's episode, so I won't say anything about that other than it's fantastic. And then I rewatched The Christmas Chronicles last night with what's his name, Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. Really fun movie. Definitely one of the better Netflix originals. Seen it about 6 times now. Watch it nearly every year around the Christmas season. I rewatched Shrek 3, and that was fun. Even though Shrek 3 isn't a good movie per se, it's still like enjoyable, and it's got the characters that we all know and love. So you can't really go wrong with Shrek 3 in my opinion. I'm actually definitely going to do a dedicated episode to the Shrek films once I've rewatched 4. That could be next week's episode, or that could be just a future episode. So if you want to see that, let me know. I'm always open to suggestions for anything like that. So I did rewatch Santa Claus 2 as well, and as I've said, that was in last week's episode. So go see that if you want to know my thoughts. And then, I've been, as I said, like towards the end of November and start of December, I've just watched a couple of things. Yeah. That's about all I can really say about what I've been watching. The main purpose of this video, really, or this episode, was to talk about Wicked. And, I wanted to kind of get my real quick thoughts. I wanted to get my quick thoughts on it, just because I don't want this episode. Sorry, I keep looking at the time. I didn't want this episode to be as long as the previous one, just because I can admit that was a bit too long. I try to go up to 20, 25 minutes. I think that one I just had a lot to talk about. So in future episodes, I'll try and streamline it to 20, 25 minutes. That's the power of editing. There's a lot of stuff to cut out. But, that's a topic for another day. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's Porter. Sorry, he's not up here. He's downstairs. I told him to come up here. Didn't listen to me, because that's just the kind of dog he is. So, and I guess that, I was going to say that could conclude this episode, but I feel like I want to talk a little bit longer. What else can I say? To tell you, since I'll be away for a week, I'm going on a cruise, so with a bunch of my friends, so that'll be a lot of fun. Went on one last year, had a lot of fun. Didn't really expect to have as much fun as I did, because first time on a cruise, I didn't know what to expect from it, and I guess there wasn't really much to expect, but I guess it's a big ship, so you don't really know what you can do. And there was a lot of stuff to do on that ship. So, and it's the same, one as last year. So it's just a couple of different people that I'm going with this time. And here we go. That concludes the episode. Sorry if it was even more rushed than some of the other ones. I wanted to get my thoughts out on Wicked, tell you some of the other movies I've been watching. In terms of TV shows or music, nothing really new. I was trying to think, like, can I talk about some music or TV shows that I've been listening to and watching, but just kind of the same stuff. Like, I'm still keeping up on Gilmore Girls and finishing up Sweet Life on Deck. Music, just, listening to the same old stuff I listen to. I like just about every kind of music besides country and all that, but I'm fine with anything as long as it's a good song and a good artist. So that's it. So I really hope you guys enjoy this one. And I will catch you guys in the next episode of the Porter Says podcast with your host and only host, Heath. That's me. Just because I'm the only host, I don't have a co-host or anything, and I haven't had a guest yet. I'm hoping to get someone on this podcast eventually who can, because at some point you'll want someone else to be here, and not just me. I mean, if you consider Porter a co-host, kind of. I mean, again, he hasn't been in many of the episodes, so I will rectify that. Hopefully, maybe the next episode or two, I'll make sure he's next to me so you can probably see him. And yeah, do like and subscribe and share this with everybody. And goodbye for now. Take care, guys.